Gee, we gave the minor premiers a scare, and the W is back. Let's get into it.
Now Majak Door. He's got the runner inside Majak. He tried the shimmy and the sidestep. Uses the 15. How good is that?
Welcome back to Further North, guys. Now, disclaimer off the top. I was meant to be recording with Admin 3, but some things changed. I'm not very well. You can maybe tell from my voice a little bit that I'm under the weather. After the live stream last night, I started to feel a bit average, hit me like a truck, but I got to get the pod out because I want to talk about our great performance, to be honest, against the Crows. And then the girls had the W today. First of all, really sorry that I couldn't get down to the W. I was genuinely so excited to go. I'm not well, and I feel a little bit better now. I've been up and I've been active, taking a lot of things in packets. I don't know what they mean, but I'm alive right now and it's okay. But this morning, and when I was meant to leave and go and meet some people for the game, there was no way that I was going to be going out of the house. So apologies to the girls. I'll absolutely be there next time for sure. So we're going to cover the men, going to cover the women. We're going to go to your questions. It's going to be a little bit of a different pod just because I don't think I'll be able to go as long. And apologies if I cough or sniff or something like that through this. I'm just trying to get the pod out for you guys because it's the last review of the year before we get into off season. And that's really when it heats up. But one more review for the year, and I can't not review such a good performance against the minor premiers. Even though it wasn't a win, we really, really showed what we're about. So let's get into it. Actually, I'm going to mention off the top quickly, thank you to everyone who did come to that live stream. It's my first ever live stream. It was a little bit clunky at the start just because I was getting used to how everything operates. But it was a great success. I think we had about 80 people watching basically the whole time, which is a lot more than I thought would be there. Thank you to everyone who jumped in. And a lot of people sort of commented and said, man, I wish I could have got there. I had this on. Will there be more? There'll be more. I want to do more. So don't worry, there will be more. Apologies, my nose is very, very blocked right now. If I need to sneeze or if I need to sniff, I'm going to mute the mic and then I'll do that and then come straight back. I record this in one go as well, and I don't really want to go through like an hour pod chopping everything up as much. So bear with me through this, everybody. There will be more live streams though. We might do, if you would like, a fan one for like a season review, and you guys can come on and talk about what you thought of the season. Let me know in the comments below on YouTube. And for those on YouTube, please subscribe, like, share it all out, comment. That stuff really, really helps me. A few people asked me how to support the show. That is the best way. That is absolutely the best way. All right, we've been rambling. Let's get into it. We played the Crows, and I didn't really know what to think about this one. I wasn't too fussed about exactly what was going to happen in this game. I just wanted to be competitive, and I just wanted to make sure we didn't embarrass ourselves, because I think the last game of the season and how you finish the season is a big, big part of the narrative going into an off season. I think it can shape a lot of the ways that we think about things as well going forward. So we lose 100 to 113, but there was some really, really good performances, and we're going to cover maybe a little bit of the team overall, and then just the whole team performance, because it's interesting. We got a lot of questions from you guys on Instagram and Facebook as well, so we're going to get to all of those as we go through. But we had some great performances, and look, one thing I'm going to touch on really, really quickly is just Cooper Trembath has kicked 3 goals again. He's averaging 3 goals in the AFL. He's played 3 games. That's crazy stuff. I can't believe it. But I think the thing about this game is, and what I really liked when I watched it, we went in with the same intensity and the same, not output, but we operated the same way we did against the Tigers the last week when we beat them by 50. And that's something I said on the preview. I want us to come in here and I want our midfield to play exactly the same way. And we did. And as far as I'm aware, and let me look at the numbers here, we dominated around the ground in the stoppages and the clearances. My Wi-Fi is being a little bit slow, but yeah, 48 to 27 clearances, 19 to 12 centre clearances, 29 to 15 stoppage clearances around the ground. That's crazy stuff. I mean, Tristan XERRI, and we'll get onto him, just dominated all day, really. Just won the hitouts, but, you know, the midfield really, really went to work off his effort in that. I mean, reading some of the other numbers here, I mean, 94 to 81 marks in our favour, 13 to 7 contested marks. We never win the contested marks. So look, we really, really put a shift in here. The pressure was up. The tackle pressure was high. 61 to 62 tackles for the game, but 15 to 10 inside 50 tackles we won, which is really, really, really positive, you know? And there's a few questions coming up about where's this intensity been. And, you know, I'll get onto that a little bit later, but we really brought it in this game and it showed we had nothing to lose. But one of the biggest points is we didn't do what we did last year, where we just completely gave up the last 2 weeks and got belted. So I think that's really, really exciting. And Adelaide had things to play for. This is the important thing to remember as well. The Crows had things to play for. They needed to guarantee top spot. They weren't coming into this game cruising. They didn't make crazy changes to rest players going into the finals and all that sort of stuff. They really, really wanted to win this game, and they did their best. And look, the better players they have got a hold of us. I mean, Peatling had a fantastic game for them. Riley Tilthorpe, even though he didn't disposals, but I didn't feel like he was absolutely everywhere. But 3 goals. Keys, one of the smaller players, we know that's a weakness for us with some of the outs we've got. They got a hold of us at the end of the day. But, 3 goals to Curtis, 3 goals to Trembath. Dylan Stevens, 2 goals, 22 touches. Yeah, we had some performers in this game, and I think we matched them in the overall play. The only thing that got us was the transition goals. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but, there was a few times watching this game that when the transition started, I'm like, oh God, we're going to be out here. So I really like what we did. And there was the stint, even the last quarter of the game for us. How many goals did we kick in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row with Powell, LDU, Cooper, and Jack Darling all kicking it to bring us back in. Cooper Trembath kicking the last goal as well of that quarter. Geez, we scared him. What a great patch of footy that was. And we never let this game get out of hand. We never stopped fighting. And it feels like this year, and yes, there's been spot times, but we have to if you've watched the games, you'll know. If you disagree with this and watch the games, open your eyes. We don't give up big runs of goals anymore. Some, like the Cats game, I understand there's a couple of anomalies in there, but every single game last year, we gave up 6, 7 goals in a row, and that doesn't feel like it happens anymore. We've improved so much, and that's what I'm really, really excited about. So let's talk about some of the different lines of the team. And I've got some questions here, and we can kick some stuff off. I've got a lot of general questions as well. And apologies, I've got my phone now. I'm going to be looking down a little bit. We've got a lot of things to do. We're going to jump around, a little bit here and there. But Michael John on Facebook, where has this effort been all year? In my opinion, we showed more effort today than any other game. I know I'm going to cop a lot for this, but LDU without the ball was pretty much a witch's hat. Can't wait to see Larkey, Zerha, Trembath, and PC in the forward line together. A few things there, but where has this effort been all year? I agree it's one of our best effort games, but I think it's been there most of the year. And I think the bad performances stick in our mind, but the good ones that don't result in a win leave our mind. And I think we've had so many good performances in there. Can I find the all matches? I'm going to filter, and I'm just going to run through the matches we've played, and I'm going to try and remember, was that a good performance, regardless of result? Dogs round 1, I think we performed well in that. So I'll give that one a tick. I'm going to tick decent to great effort, good enough effort, or no effort at all, right? We're going to rank those. So Bulldogs round 1, tick. Melbourne, we smashed them, tick. We Crows in round 3. We went down by 6 goals, but I think we all know watching that game, we really put in a shift. Swans round 4, no. Suns, 3/4 of that game, yes, but the last quarter was bad. Carlton, no. Port Adelaide, absolutely. Essendon, yes. Brisbane, yes. Richmond, yes. Collingwood, yes, until the last quarter. Eagles, yes. We came back and won that game. That's effort. Dockers, yes. Carlton win, yes. Hawthorn, no. Dogs, no the next week. Well, we actually scored 85 points in that Dogs game, but they got us by 50 in the end. But I think there was effort there, but that's a 50-50. The D's game after that in round 18, yeah, there was effort there. I don't think there was no effort, but the D's were just better than us. The Swans game, I think there was some effort in that one, 31 points, but I feel like we dropped off late in that one. Cats, obviously not. Saints, yes. Giants, yes, even though we blew out late. Tigers last week, yes. And the Crows, yes. There's all of our games. And I think more often than not, we've shown a lot of effort in those games. Is it always been enough? Potentially not. But I'm comparing things to last year, and this is where my thought process comes from. Compared to last year, the effort is so much better across the board all year. Apart from 4 or 5 games here and there, 20 games, 18 to 20 games this year, I think we've put in pretty good effort. So I'm going to sort of give us a pass there. And let me go through some of these. Yeah, the goal song question. I don't want the fans to just be like, oh my God, we've got absolutely no effort and all that sort of stuff. I think it's harsh on the team when the improvement effort-wise has been that much. It's not where we want to be, but we'll get there. B Mizzy on Instagram, biggest takeaway of the game. I alluded to this before. The biggest takeaway for me is and this goes back to what I was just saying. Last year, the last 2 rounds, we just completely gave up. We completely gave up. This year, we've played better all through the season. We've been a much better team. And we've competed so well in these last 2 games. Yes, Richmond was an easy game, but we're near them on the ladder. You know, if Richmond beat us in that game last week, everyone would say how bad we are. But if we beat them, they go, yeah, they should beat them. That's basically a double standard. We're next to each other on the ladder, and we smashed them. We beat them by 50-odd points. So, you know, I think it's really important to do that sort of stuff. And then the Crows, I mean, this team's been the best team all year. And we did that against them. It's really exciting. _the jellyfish _ on Instagram. How much do we take from this game for next year? I think we can take a real step. Yeah. I completely agree. I think we take a lot from it because once again, if we lose this game, I think the narrative is, oh my God, bad North, bad. But then if we win it, we go, oh, it's the last game. It doesn't matter. You can't be like that. It does mean something. Now, your last performance is the last thing you remember, and you take that into the preseason, you take that into the offseason. You know, even potential free agents and that sort of stuff. See us do that against Richmond. See us compete against the Crows, and we're showing that we can do it. And that's without Larkey. You know, Curtis missed a month of this year. Jerry missed a lot. Like, we can do it. All right, we can absolutely do it. What we'll do, because I don't want to jump around these questions too much, let me just double check if we've got any we need to touch on for the game right now. And actually, yeah, one thing I'm going to look at, and I'm going to Google this question as we speak here. Brighton Isles has written in on Facebook, in comparison of our round 1 team this year and our round 24 team, what's the biggest change or lack thereof? So what we're going to do, now let me get up the round 1 team, and let's get up the team that we played with yesterday, and we can compare. So, and there's going to be obviously some big changes, but it'd be interesting to look at this actually, I think, because it's really, really interesting to see where people go for the season. Okay. The back line, let's just talk about the back line. Combin, Pink, Logue, O'Sullivan, Daniel, Powell's name. Core got named on the wing. And Core, what other defenders are in the team? Not really any, to be honest, because we don't have any left. That was our game against Adelaide. And then against the Dogs, Combin, Core, Logue, Archer, Daniel, Scott. Core hasn't been there most of the year. Archer hasn't been there most of the year. I guess the biggest thing is Pink is in there, and he's been a bit of a stalwart as well. Finn O'Sullivan, did he play the first game for us? Let's have a list. He did on the wing, but I feel like he played a lot down the back. It's interesting. Our backline has been fairly steady this year, as in rotations. I feel like how many games would Logue have played this year? He missed a bit through the middle of the season, I guess. But, Combin's been there all year. Daniel's been there all year. O'Sullivan has been down there all year, which helps us a lot. McDonald was there most of the year. You've got your Cores and your Logues, and as much as, and we've got some questions about them coming up, those players being in and out have actually hurt us a little bit, not necessarily because they're the best players, but because we need that continuity down there. So the midfield, LDU's played most of the year. That's pretty similar. Our game in round 1 against the Dogs, Simpkin, LDU, Power Parker. The biggest difference is like your Powells and your Simpkins aren't getting the CBAs as much, right? That's something that's changed through the year is our midfield rotation has tightened up. I feel like, I wish they named where they played on the ground, but Sheasel was playing off half forward at that point, and now we've seen the best of him this year in the guts. LD has always been there. No Wardlaw at the start of the year as well. And you got guys like Phillips on the bench who have fallen out. Robert Hansen through that midfield hasn't really come on. Colby was playing off half forward and then he went back. There's one for the back line. We've found more stability and we've found where the players are meant to play, I think, this year. I think Colby off that half back line is something to stick with, and maybe like an O'Sullivan through the middle. I want Colby in that midfield. I've been very vocal on that, but I don't know if he's in that starting three in the guts. And I think O'Sullivan has more attributes to be that midfielder we would prefer with Colby running past because he's been so good off half back. And then the forward line, there was no Zerhan, there's no Larkey in there. But the forward line is relatively similar. I guess the Constanti's played all year. The biggest one is obviously Cooper Trembath. Just being, the guy we've been missing for a long, long time. So, look, it's really, really interesting. But I think the biggest thing with the team changes from round 1 to round 24 is we've found the positions that each player in different lines can play, and they can actually contribute to the team. It's become more of a unit, more of a system, and we are building that game plan, which I think is really exciting. And I think Brighton asked at the end there, what do we need to target? Realistically, it's hard because like a lockdown sort of small to medium defender would be great. But then you think about Archer coming back. I think McDonald's got more to give. 30 years in an age where you drop off a cliff. So, but I think we need reinforcement there as well. I don't obviously Hardiman as the best defensive guy. I think he's going to be a good interceptor and he can do a job. And I want Sullivan to move out of there eventually. Colby and Caleb Daniel aren't going to be the defenders. They're those elite ball users that we can distribute with. So I think Archer and then McDonald as he goes on, get another guy like that who could be the best out of them and let them compete for positions. I think that's the most important thing we should target, obviously being linked with Starcevic and stuff, but we've avoided a lot of off-season chat in this pod because there is pods coming up in the next couple of weeks that will focus on that. So do not worry about that. Let's talk about the forward line first. Now, this is the part of the ground that's very, very interesting to me because it's clicking so well and it looks really, really dangerous when we're on. Obviously, Trembath, 3 more goals, which was outstanding. Curtis, another 3, which was fantastic. But we when we get it in there, I feel like we've got a massive chance to be able to lock it in and to actually, what's the right word? Score. Like I think we'll score. We put up 100 points in this game, and that's without Nick Larkey and that's without Cameron Zerha. There's been some chat about, are we better without those guys in there? No, that's obviously not true. But, it's really exciting what we can do. I believe Curtis is the number 1 forward 50 tackler in the league. Constanti, as much as he cannot kick to save his life, I think he played well. He created opportunities. What did he get? 3 or 4 behinds in the end? 3, no goals, 3. If Constanti can get his kicking straight, which he absolutely can, that's not a hard thing to fix. He can be a player down there because I think he had a good game other than his woeful kicking. I love how that forward 50 is operating. Simpkin down there I think is really good. And Jack Darling, we're going to get onto some of the veterans in a second, but man, he just makes this forward line function so much better. And I'm excited to see him, Trembath, and Larkey in that forward line next year. I think that's really, really exciting. Zach Banch and Geordie Payne, let's have a chat about them. Because these guys are all talked about with delistings and stuff. Once again, we're going to do that in a separate pod. But I like the look of Banch in this game. Let me try and find his disposals and everything here and some stats on Banch. But, didn't rack up the football to a crazy degree. Only nine touches, but he pressed us forward. And I feel like some of his forward 50 entries weren't the best, but he does look like a live wire down there. And I think with a preseason, he could be dangerous is a strong word, but he's that little meatball. He's not afraid to put his body on the line. He looks like a bit of a prick. He can tackle, he can chase, he can hound. And I like that. I really, really do. As for Geordie Payne, it may be a slightly quieter game in this one for Geordie Payne. once again, the discussions about delistings and that sort of stuff, who really knows? Who was it that got subbed off? Was it Payne? Am I just making that up? Let me just double check this. Because Cooper started as the sub, and I think Payne got subbed off early, didn't he? Yeah, so he only got 2 touches in this game. So if anyone knows what's wrong with him, please let me know if there's anything wrong. I mean, it just says tactical, and I guess it happened, I believe, late in the third. So maybe it's no injury. It doesn't say injury here. So, look, yeah, geez, it's hard to know because I think Constanti has been probably the best out of those 3, but people are going to be underwhelmed with that. God, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's so difficult. Oh, sorry, my throat. Thank you for sticking with me with this one, guys. Honestly, I'm not at my peak right now, but I'm really trying to get this pod out for you guys. I really like what we're doing with the forward line. I really think it's going to be exciting. Jakey McIntyre on Instagram. Jake Y McIntyre. Look, it's one of those. Hello, Jake. Do you think we snagged? Do you think we sandbagged Trembath so we could get him for the mid-season draft? Well, this is an interesting one because we hate Brady Rawlings so much on the internet. I made that video a few weeks ago, and I'm not saying that's my view, but the general view on Brady Rawlings is anti-Brady Rawlings. And the point of that video was, does Brady Rawlings deserve more credit? And the comments on that, just go look at the Instagram comments on that, wild stuff. People just giving me lists of all the things he's done wrong. And this is the point of the video. I know those people didn't watch the video, but I know he did those things wrong. I'm not saying does he deserve lots of credit, but does he deserve not to get bashed was basically the point of the video because of things like this. Did they stash him? Obviously, we've heard he was a bit overweight, and they said if you work on your fitness, we'll consider picking you up. Maybe they saw something in him. And if that is true, which I don't know 100%, maybe it looks that way. Unless we've either just done a miracle, he's seen something and he's just come on and it's been a miracle, or he genuinely, and the recruiting staff genuinely saw something in him to know he could be a similar player to this. I don't think they would have known he'd do this, but yeah, maybe they did. And if that is true, these are the things we've got to give Brady Rawlings credit for, and the whole recruiting team and the club in general. And that was the point of that video was, I'm not saying he hasn't done anything wrong, but we criticize Brady for things he's done wrong, but when things go right, we give it excuses. And I don't know if that's always fair. And on the pod, we'll always work it out. James Dalberto on Instagram. What do you think, or who do you think will be the starting small forwards for next year? Well, we just sort of discussed that, didn't we? Oh, I mean, after the game yesterday, I'd say Constanti and Banch, but I've liked what I've seen from Payne too. If Constanti can kick straight, I like Constanti in there. I still think we should try and recruit. Robert Hansen Jr. doesn't feel like he's that goal kicking forward, right? He feels like a winger, like more of a midfielder and more of a creative player. I still think we just need that. We can go and recruit like a small, lively forward who's got goal sense. But Banch and Constanti would probably be my picks at the moment. Geordie Payne, I like him, and I think he's done well. But I don't know. I think Banch's potential is a little bit higher. And I think Constanti's played pretty well. He's played every game. So if you like him or not, he's played every game for a reason. He's got the ability to tag and shut down, Lockie Asian. Was it Richards? Bailey Dale for the Dogs when he did. And then, look, he's getting shots at goal. And I think that's the important thing. It's his first year of football. If he can kick straighter, I think he can be that player. So that's probably what I would pick. Christo Sapots on Instagram. Who are our starting key position players for next season, forward and back? Okay, we'll lump this in with the forward chat here, and I'll name my starting backman as well. But key position-wise for me, I mean, it's Darling, it's Larkey, and it's Trembath. I think that's the obvious one. I'm not on the train that Darling doesn't play next year. I said this at the start of this year. Everyone was saying he'll play 15 games. And I think it was on #Kangaroos when we did the preseason pod. I said, why can't he play all the games? He played every game for West Coast. He kicked a goal every game for West Coast. I don't know. Everyone who said he was washed, I don't think you watched any West Coast games last year. Don't get me wrong. There were nothing good to watch there. But he wasn't washed at all. He's not at his peak, and I understand that. But washed, we throw that word around way too much. Clearly, he's been. There's an argument for the best out of the 3 mature age recruits, I think. So, he's kicked more than a goal a game with us. He's fit. He's going to be fit, and if you watch every week and you watch the full games and everything, what he does is so, so important. Trembath would not be the player he is looking like without Darling, and Larkey down there on top of those guys. That's what I'm going with. 100%. Lock that in. And then my guy Whitlock can push. You put pressure on the twos and you break into that team. As for the defenders, next year, at this point, this is excluding recruitments, of course. Honestly, it'd be Logue, which I know people won't like, Comben, and Will Dawson, to be honest with you. I think Comben and Dawson are your pillars to build around. Griffin Logue on paper is what we need. I'm giving him a preseason, and he's got to hold his spot down next year. That's the last chance I'm giving to Griffin Logue. He hasn't had a good year, but he has been in and out. I think he's played some good games as well. His Richmond game was fantastic, and he's had other spot games since he's come back that he's been good. I'm giving him a preseason to get fit and to find his role. Toby Pink is like that Matt Whitlock. I love what Pink's done. And if he's playing instead of a Logue, I'm not upset by that at all because, God, he's been really, really impressive. And one of our players of the season, I would say, just from expectation. But I want him pushing in the twos to take Griffin Logue's spot, and that's what's going to make a healthy club and improve our players. So I think that's really, really important. They're the key positions I would go with. Will Dawson, although once again, maybe Pink comes in for Will Dawson or something like that, depending on matchup. But Comben and Dawson, your 2 big 200-centimetre pillars, and then Pink can come in if we've got, we're playing against a smaller forward line. They're the keys I would go with. That's about all for the forward line, I think. Let's go to the midfield. There's not maybe heaps to touch on with the midfield. We haven't already said. It was just real domination from our midfield from clearance. Simpkin, 33 touches. Sheasel, 32. LDU, 31. I mean, those 3 are fantastic. Parker, 27. Tristan Sherry, 25. Colby, 23. Dylan Stevens, 22. Caleb Daniel, 22. Wardlaw, 18. O'Sullivan, 17. And Powell, 16. That is their numbers we want people to getting every week. Let's talk about Jai in this one. 33 touches, 22 kicks, 3 clearances, 8 marks. Around the ground, I love what he does. Him and Tom Powell, let's bunch these guys together. They've really found their roles. And this is what I'm meaning about the biggest improvement I've seen this season. And from Brian's question, from round 1 to round 24, we've found roles that players work in. And if we had more time with what we found the last 2 weeks, I think we could have won more games this year. I think we win that Bombers game. We win the Saints game. That sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Simpkin, really funny as well. I love him drifting into that forward line. I mean, 736 metres gained. Surely that's the most. That's the most by over 200 metres. So he was fantastic this game. Really good job for Jai. And I like him as captain. And I really hope he sees through this period of the club as captain because he's captaining this club at such a hard time. And I just think he deserves to see it through. Do you know what I mean? Put it in the comments below if you agree or not. But, let's not be too harsh. LDU 12 clearances, Parker 10 as well. Just looking at some more stats here. Look, CBAs, I love a CBA, but you guys probably don't want to be seeing that. So, yeah, LDU is fantastic as well. 12 clearances again. I think he got 12 the week before, 31 touches. Once again, last 2 weeks, he's been on fire. Imagine if we got this LDU for the whole year. But, hey, you've got something to build off. Sheasel at one point was having leather poisoning again. Quite a second half for him, but, so clean with the football. Let me see if I can look up his disposal efficiency. I'm sure it's pretty high, and it's crazy when you've got that many touches. 71% disposal efficiency on 32 touches, is crazy. So 6 clearances for him. The midfield balance is fantastic. Sheasel, LDU, Wardlaw. Let's talk about Wardlaw. 9 tackles for the game, 4 clearances from him, but it's pressure acts with Wardlaw. It's what he's doing around the football. I've said that without even looking at the stats, but George Wardlaw, 29 pressure acts, most on the ground. His pressure creates fumbles and gives us possession. Since he's come back from his concussion, he has been fantastic. Fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted from him all year as well. So fantastic job by George Wardlaw being the player that we really wanted to be at the moment. And you know what? I kind of wish there was more games in the season for him. Powell around the ground, I really liked, just a solid user of the football. Nothing crazy from Powell. This is sort of what I was getting at the start of the year when everyone was getting on me about my Powell hate, which isn't hate. I like Tom Powell, but I think Tom Powell is the guy that gets maybe 20 possessions max and keeps the ball rolling. He's a rung in the ladder. He's a link in the chain that makes the right calls. Dylan Stevens, fantastic game from him. 2 goals, 22 touches. He progresses the ball forward really, really well. Always makes good, not always, but makes a lot of good decisions, and he's clean by foot. I called it. I'm never going to let that one go. But I like what he's shown, and he's just taken Scott's spot. He's made it really hard for, there to be another winger in this team. We go with Simpkins sometimes, Foss, all those guys rotate through the wing, but he's been on that wing basically all season, and I love what he's done. So good game from Stevens. Colby continues to do what he does, maybe slightly quieter. 23 touches is quiet for him. Not as many meters gained, but every time he gets the ball, there's a threat of the game breaking open. Parker, head over everything, 10 clearances. Love the leadership he shows. But let's talk about Tristan Xerri. I think this is the one that we really need to talk about. 35 hit-outs, 25 touches for the game, 12 tackles is crazy stuff. And let me check his clearances here really, really quickly. 7 clearances for the game, 5 intercepts, 9 score involvements for him as well. But, yeah, wow. Is he a chance at All-Australian? Is he? Oh, I don't know. But I think he is, even with him missing the 3 games. I think he should probably be the All-Australian ruckman, and maybe that's a bit biased on my mind. Grundy, I think Xerri's season overall has been better than Grundy. I think we all know deep down they're going to give us the North tax and he's not going to get it. But God, he's been good. When he's been good, he's been the best ruck in the league. Grundy's been great second half of the year, but first half wasn't up to it. Gawn's always solid, and Gawn will probably get the legacy pick like he always does. And that's not disrespecting Gawn. He's fantastic, but I don't know. We've got something special in Big X, and I'm glad he's my ruckman. Let's just say that. So, yeah, great performance by the midfield. And I like we played the way that we did last week. I like that we went at it. We tried to win stoppage, and we used it pretty well. Our disposal efficiency for the game, 73%, not too bad, but 57% efficiency inside 50, which, I don't have all the numbers in front of me right now, but that feels like it's pretty high compared to what we normally do, All right, let's go to the defense. We've got some questions. We've got one question here that I really wanted to read out. Frankie Mizzy on Facebook. There's no doubt our defense needs to be bolstered. Logan Core just aren't up to it at all, at least not consistently. Who can we target from other clubs to help in this area, or who do we have within that can come in? First of all, once again, I'm not writing off Logue just yet. I know it feels like that, but let's be a smarter fan base, and let's just understand there's been so many injuries. He's played some good games this year and played a lot of bad ones, don't get me wrong, but I don't think you write a player off. We wrote Pink off, we wrote Stevens off. Griffin Logue is a good footballer. He's a good AFL player. He was recruited for a reason over here. And like I said before, I think Comben, Dawson, and Logue is the 3 to start next year. Let's not write him off. I think Aiden Core is going to be good depth. It's probably his last year, I would think. I think he triggered the 1 year thing, right? So I want Aiden Core to be back up in case of injuries, and you can play in the 2s and show that leadership, be part of that leadership group, and help develop these guys like a Will Dawson, work with him and that sort of stuff, As for recruitments, now we've been linked to Lever. We've been linked to Lever. What I want to do, if we recruit any defender, tall or small, they need to come in and be at least our second, if not our best defender. And the other thing is, do we get a guy who's got like 4 or 5 years left and maybe hinder Will Dawson's development? Or do we get someone who's like early 30s, but has been a really, really good player who can come in and do what, say, Darling's done for a couple of years and then Will Dawson's ready to take over. Let me know what you prefer to recruit. I mean, ideally, obviously, if we can recruit our best key defender in the offseason, I mean, I'd probably do that. How old is Lever? Let me have a look here. I assume he's like 29. Let me have a look. Jake Lever, born in 96. I'm born in 95, so he must be 29. He's 29. So still plenty of years left. I mean, it's still at least 3-4 years left. More of an intercept defender though, and I do want to take that away from Chom. But then Chom was very good one-on-one this year as well. The other guy we've been linked to, and I'm just going to type it in here, so apologies for, this break. I should have got all this ready. His name's Butts, I think, from Adelaide. Jordan Butts. AFL. Here we go. Isn't getting a game at the Crows. 195 centimeter key defender. I've heard this guy is someone that's on our radar. Total games, I mean, since he got debut in 2020, he's played 85 games for the Crows, but at the moment isn't getting in that team as much from what I've seen. I don't know if it tells you how many games he's played for the year. Can we see this here? Player statistics. Top career performance 2025. Doesn't really played in 2025. 10 games. Okay, 10 games. Yeah, if he's gettable, I think why not? Part of that Crows defense, which is so good, big, physical. I've seen him play a couple of times. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on him. Maybe we'll get like a Crows guy on and we can do a little preview of that. But that's another name that I've been hearing that we can get linked to. So I would probably say go and get him over Lever. Because he's that right age profile. He wants his opportunity, and maybe he can be our best defender. Butts, Comben, Dawson, Logue, those guys fighting for that position. I don't mind that. So there's a couple that I'd potentially go after. I mean, Starcevic is obviously the other one. I would love Starcevic. One thing I think gets thrown around too often in the comments section is, he's one more concussion away from retirement. Settle down. Let's just chill out on that. I don't like it's happened. I understand that, but geez, the comments are negative. I'm sure it's not quite to that degree. People said that about Wardlaw. He's 20 years old. So let's chill out on that. But I would love Starcevic. I mean, he's probably my number one recruit if we could get him. I don't know why exactly he would come to North at this stage, unless he wants a longer term deal, more money, and wants to be part of the project, to be honest. But hey, we got to pay overs to get players. That's just the reality of North Melbourne. So if we got a Butts and a Starcevic, geez, that'd be a massive tick for me in that offseason. As for within, I mean, like we pointed out before, do we want to hinder Dawson's growth? Now we've got Trembath up there. Does Whitlock swing a little bit more and go back again? I don't know. I've even heard some people saying throw Finbar down there. I suggested it could be like a Majak situation where he maybe doesn't have the skill personally to play forward, but the leaping ability, the marking ability that he can show, maybe he can just be a good interceptor. So I think we've got plenty of keys in the team. We've got plenty of key defenders in the team. Are they good enough? And if we think Butts can be our top 1 or 2 defenders on the list eventually, go and get him. Go and get him, I say. Other than that, I think the defense battled pretty hard on the day. The Crows forward line is just so tough to deal with. I mean, we had no one for Keys to really match up on him. O'Sullivan tried to cover him a little bit, and I know Griffin Logue sort of watches out for that sort of stuff, but, that player was always going to get a hold of us. Aiden Core, who swung forward weirdly. Why do you guys think Aiden Core went forward? I think on another day, I think the Crows maybe do even more, to be honest. I think our defense didn't feel super shaky, but we put pressure on up the ground and didn't let the transition as much, because we had plenty of bad transition moments, but we didn't let it dominate us all game. We got on top in periods of the game, and I guess that's why the defense can look better, is because our midfield gets on top and we're on the attack more than on defense. So overall, I really liked the game. I really loved the effort, and I think this can really help us going into next season. So we've got some rapid fire questions here, and then we're going to go on to our W review, and then we can finish this one up. And Sean Atlee Club Champ, of course. What else do we have here? Matt Cooper, with so many players having their first seasons or getting their first real look at the AFL this year, which players are you looking forward to seeing come back bigger and better next season? Mine will be Hardiman, Dawson, Will Dawson, Trembath. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think you've really nailed that. You could even look at a forward line and say a Curtis, because he said himself he's got more to offer and he can still go to levels. He's a player that's shown he can be one of the best forwards in the game. He's someone I'm excited at. Trembath, absolutely. There's a bit of pressure on him now. I'd love to see him. Talking about in the midfield, I mean, Wardlaw is the one I'd instantly go to, where if he can do what he's been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks all the time, man, that's a player. That's a player. That's someone who I want to come back and see be bigger and better. LDU is an obvious one there as well, but I think he'll get back to that. The back line, I mean, Dawson's the biggest one. I agree with what Matt said. Dawson is one that I really, really think can be a great player for us. Archer, I want to see him have a massive preseason. And I guess, depending on where he plays, Finn O'Sullivan, I want him to go to that next level next year because he can. He's so talented. And does he play more midfield? Who knows? But yeah, man, I'm excited about him. He looks like a player, doesn't he? There's just some names off the top of my head. Put down below in the comments on YouTube who you think could do that too. Christos, I've already, we've already read this one out. That's actually one I screenshot, but I'm going to do this in a separate video. Christos Potts, just a quick idea for the pod. Give your best 23 next season. That's going to be another podcast. I'm not going to do that one right now. Miss Jane with a lot of ease on Instagram. Realistically, what's our ceiling for next year? PC to dominate, AA finals? Probably not finals. Let's chill out. Our ceiling could be like 10 to 12 wins, I think. I know that sounds conservative to a lot of people, but we're just not going to do that. We've still got holes and we still need recruitment. But, I think 8 to 10 win mark is probably the goal next year. I'm going to say 10. I'm going to say 10. 8's probably too low from maybe what I've seen the last few weeks and for a lot of the year if we actually get some continuity. So, look, maybe I'll go around the 10 win mark, but our ceiling, 12, 13 wins. That's our absolute ceiling. Let me know what you guys think the ceiling is next year. I don't think it's finals. I think if you put finals down there, I love the optimism, but I think it's a little bit crazy, to be honest. But hey, Marnie thinks we're going to win the grand final, and that's what we love about her. All right. Rosh Jacko, interesting, on Instagram. Would you trade Dersma for Windhager? We're going to jump around a bit here just because I've got the questions all in a saved file. Yes, I would. I think we need something back in return on top of that, like a second round pick. Personally, because of Dersma's talent. We're not questioning Dersma's talent, but he's not going to fit on the list. With Curtis, doing what he's going to do, Zerha with his 5-year deal, I don't know. I can see Parker going in there more. I can see Simpkin, going in there a lot more. Hopefully Wardlaw can be that player eventually that rests down forward as well. So yes, I would. Right now, I would. I know a lot where the fan base is very split on this, but I'm not maybe on the Dersma train right now. I think he's had a very, very poor year, and I think he's regressed from last year, to be honest. So I would trade Dersma for Windhager. I think the Saints would do that too, but Windhager's a free agent, isn't he? So, or maybe he's not. I don't know. We're going to do a preview on that one anyway. So, but I'd say Dersma maybe a second rounder or something like that, because Dersma's ceiling is still very, very high. H Blackwood 07 on Instagram. What is your favorite North goal song in 2025? Do you like the goal songs? I like the goal songs. People's taste in music just kind of sucks, doesn't it? I can't stand Coldplay personally. They're the most average band ever, but apologies for any Coldplay fans out there. But I'll hear the chorus of Viva La Vida every day of the week if Nick Larkey keeps kicking goals. I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head. Wardlaw's Mozart-esque song, which I don't think he had this year, it was last year. That needs to come back. To be honest, I don't rate the goal songs that much because my music taste is like rock and metal. I love bands like Thornhill and Deftones or Bring Me the Horizon or Linkin Park. I'm 30 years old. I'm an emo kid at heart, but then I've gone, I like music that scares most people, to be honest. If I played and I chucked some Deftones on as my goal song, the crowd would be terrified, I think. More metal. We need more metalheads in the AFL. Everyone likes rap and EDM. It's not for me. I like some rappers. If anyone knows an artist called Loyal Kana out there, he's a fantastic rapper. Stoked Snoop Dogg's playing the granny. Mac Miller's cool. Anderson .Paak, I like those artists. That's sort of like jazzy hip hop, sort of coffee shop sound. So yeah, music is sick, but we need some more. We need some metal goal songs. I think that would be sick. Comment the bands below that you guys love like that. Let's see if we've got a similar music taste. What have we got? Oh, that was Shawnee at _ AB _ as well. My mistake. Sorry, I didn't read the name out. Thank you. Sorry, my friend. Let's keep going here. And this is one I really want to talk about, actually. Harley Harbour. Wow, tell me I'm wrong, but the impact from Darling, Parker, and Daniel is huge. Massive. Absolutely gargantuan. Darling, I mean, what a recruit. What an absolute crazy recruit. Picked 60-something, I think we gave him up for. Half the fan base was trashing him. I was always on the Darling train. Go back and listen to when we were the pod we recruited him. I said, this is a great get. He's not as washed as everybody thinks. You don't watch the Eagles games. I'm friends with Big Ann. I work with Big Ann. I watched a lot of Eagles last year as well. The dude was not washed. And if you thought he was washed, you're acting off emotion and not doing your research. Love that. Parker's been fantastic. I reckon he'd probably be top 5 in the BNF. And we're going to cover predictions for the BNF when we do the big season review in the next week. That's exciting. And Daniel, look, love him or hate him, he's been a good recruit for us, and he's going to be a very, very crucial player over the next few years. When we get a better defense behind him, when we've got guys to defend the smalls and he doesn't have to do 2 jobs, once he can focus on his role, big tick. So I love what we've done there. Fantastic, all those guys. Jacob Holmes _ Oh, sorry, my mistake, guys. So I'm so sick. I'm so sick. If you're getting through this and listening, even through my sickness, I'm battling for you guys and you're battling for me listening to this, so I appreciate it. Honest thoughts of how the season went and ended and going into next year. Tick for me for this season. The win total, maybe not quite where we wanted, but one interesting thing that I saw a few days ago was the AFL put out, it was basically a ladder of teams' records when they lose by like under 2 goals or when the score is within 2 goals. And long story short, we're tied for first in the AFL we've lost 7 games under 2 goals. And we're tied with something like Adelaide, Sydney, and I think it's the Gold Coast. So 2 of those are top 4 teams. And, the Swans are a very, very good outfit. What that says to me is that is where the improvement is. 7 games under 2 goals, tied for the most in the league, is a massive, massive improvement. And that is where I'm excusing maybe not getting to the 8-win mark or anything like that. I'm counting that Brisbane one as a win. 6 wins to me for the year, 5.5 technically. You know what I mean? If it wasn't against the reigning premiers, I wouldn't count it. But, 7 losses under 2 goals, we didn't do that last year. So I'm stoked. I think we can really build upon that. We know the defense is the area. The midfield tick. We got a question up here about the midfield coach, I think, as well, with Lee Adams. So, that stuff is really, really exciting. I think if we can get the midfield clicking more consistently, the forward line looks dangerous with guys like Trembath. When Larky comes back, Darling and PC up there, I'm really, really excited about what we can do going into next year. And we ended it so well. And I think that's a good platform for recruitment and a good platform for us to build off. Let me see if I can find, we'll get to that recruit, the Lee Adams question in a second. _ the jellyfish _ how much do we take from the, we already answered that question, my bad. C.J.Sutton, Constanti, Harvey, Payne, Banch, low possession players, pick 2 for round 1 next year. We're ready to touch on that. I think Constanti and Banch. Harvey, it's so hard with those 4, isn't it? I'll go those 2. It feels wrong to put Payne last on that, but Harvey's had, his highs are high, but the lows can be low with him. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll go Constanti and Banch for now, but maybe Constanti and Harvey, to be honest. I think they've had the most impact this season. Oh, sorry, my nose is running. Chef Zachy Man? Chef Zackermans? Sorry, mate. Who knows what you're saying? Which players from North will be heading to Bali after the season. You know Jackson Archer and Cooper Harvey are going to hit up a good time like their old man's used to, I reckon. Who loves having their shirt off? I feel like Simpkin loves having his shirt off. PC would love having his shirt off, I reckon. Those guys are going to be running rampant around Bali. Oh, is there an underdog? I feel like Larky isn't that guy. Shizu obviously not. He's going to be in an ice bath, a cryo chamber, and eating vegan sausages. Who else on the team? You know what? I feel like Banch could be that guy. You know that short, muscly guy with like too much gel and spiky hair that is always really loud and obnoxious, who you see at the bar and you go, yeah, your shirt's unbuttoned a little bit too much. You're really loud. You think you're the guy, but you're 5'5". Banch's got a bit of that energy about him. I like his act. This is not an attack, but I think he'd be a mad Bali sesh. Let's just say that. Oh God, I'm glad I'm not there with the boys. All right, let me see if I can find this Lee Adams question. Here we go. Kai McPherson, with Patch on the way out, who do you think will replace him and Carney as senior coaches? Do you expect any other changes to the coaching staff? I don't really. An interesting one with the coaching staff for me is like Xavier Clark. We haven't really heard much about him. You know, I want to hear how he's going. I want to see his impact. You know, we talk about Thirstfield, you know, and like Jed Adcock at the club and that sort of stuff a lot. I feel like maybe Thirstfield could be like an assistant coach. I've heard Choco Williams is a potential look for Clarkson. I think Patch going is probably for the best. Marnie made a fantastic point mid-season saying one of the biggest changes we need to make is a midfield coach because our midfield is so talented, but we don't have the players to our midfield's so talented, but we don't click all the time. And that's Lee Adams' responsibility more than it is Clarkson's. So we need to go and we need a midfield coach from another club that's got experience, that's built a good midfield before, that's had some sort of success. I don't want an ex-North player. We need fresh ideas. And I think that will really make our midfield click. And that's what's really exciting to me. I think we need to keep as much of the coaching staff the same as we can. Continuity is key. Think about your workplace. If your teammates, staff members, co-workers were changing all the time, you would be frustrated too. So, yeah, I'm excited to keep most of those guys together, bring in some key pieces, and I'm very, very excited for next year, guys. Genuinely, I really, really am. Let's give 3 votes for the Sean Atlee Club champ. This has gone longer than I thought, and then we'll get on to the W a little bit. So, 3 votes. Oh, geez. This is really, really hard. Trembath is going to get a vote. Simpkin's got to get a vote. Simpkin was fantastic. Oh, and I mean, PC 3 goals. LDU was great. Jerry, of course, my bad. Jerry 3 votes. So, all right. Sherry's getting 3 votes. Trembath's getting 2 votes. And Simpkin's getting 1 vote. Oh, is that harsh? Am I just giving it to Trembath? Yeah, okay, I am. That's harsh. Sherry, 3 votes. Simpkin, 2 votes. And Trembath, 1 vote. Harsh on Shees, LDU, Parker, or PC, all those guys. But hey, and I think that officially means, though, that Colby wins the Sean Atlee Club champ by 1 vote. I think him and Parker are 14 and 15 votes or something at the top. So, look, let me run all the numbers and put up a post through the week. And congratulations to Colby if he is the winner. Fantastic stuff. And look, people are going to say I'm biased. I'm a massive Colby guy, but I think he's been consistently the best player. He's basically polled votes every game second half of the year. Sherry being out hurt him a little bit. You know, she's an LDU's form has come on so late this year. Parker sort of started really hot and then maybe hasn't been as hot second half. But when Colby burst into life second half of the year, I think he was good before that, by the way. But, you know, geez, he was good. And, yeah, he probably top 3 best and fairest this year, I would say. So, well done, Colby McKercher. All right, let's pivot over to the W. I've got to get all the numbers and the stats up here. But really, really exciting stuff. I mean, once again, I'm going to apologize that I couldn't get down there. I was so excited too. And I felt so much more sick this morning and I couldn't get there. But I watched it on TV and it looked like a fantastic celebration. All the men's team was down there to watch the flag unveiling. They hoisted that on top of the main building at Arden Street. There was fireworks and just a fantastic thing for the girls to celebrate their achievement. It looked like a big crowd in there as well, which was really, really exciting. And look, we got treated to, I mean, basically, it was the Riddell and Garner show, which it usually is, to be fair. I mean, Ash Riddell, 43 disposals in an AFLW game. They play 17-minute quarters, don't they? Or 18-minute quarters or something. That is outrageous. That's the equivalent of like a 60-touch game in the AFL. That's ridiculous stuff. But Jasmine Garner, she's kicked 6. She's had 31 and 6. Oh, my God. We're going back to back, guys. It's outrageous. 87-15. I mean, look, and we really slowed up in this game. We came out hot. They didn't score Port Adelaide in the first quarter. We came out and just absolutely bullied them at the start. And I was thinking, geez, this might be the biggest, victory in AFLW history. You know what I mean? But man, we had some really, really exciting players in this game. And Vicky Wall was back, which was very, very exciting. And I've got to look up the name. There's a couple of the new girls that really, really excited me. Number 10, I've got to find out. I haven't learned all the names yet. Oh, yeah, very difficult name. Blathen Boge or Bogue. I'm going to learn that one. Apologies. She was really, really good and really, really lively. Got mowed down a couple of times for holding the ball, maybe trying a little bit too much. But, she has added a real spark. And the other girl that did was apparently her first game, I think a new draftee, Amy Gavin Mangan. Really, really good stuff. Not heaps of possessions. When she got the ball, she turned on the burners and kicked a goal. Really lively up in that forward line. So, I mean, adding those guys along, with Sheeran in the back line, as a recruit, geez, we've probably strengthened again. It's outrageous stuff, but I thought those two girls were really, really exciting. I mean, that midfield, King, Riddell and Garner, you just can't stop it. We've got the best midfield in the comp by a country mile. And it's tackle pressure. The Power barely got the ball in their forward half, it felt like, especially in the first half. I mean, halftime, it's 49-6. Third quarter, I think the Power were probably on top. I think that at one stage they had more inside 50 entries for the first half, but they didn't get reward for their effort. We ended up just kicking goals, which felt like a little bit against the run of play. Riddell gold, Vicky Wall gold, I love that. O'Loughlin gold, Jasmine Garner gold again in that quarter. They only scored one goal in that quarter, but it felt like their play was getting maybe not on top, but they equaled it out a little bit, and we just went running all over them like we were previously. And then the last quarter, I mean, look, it was actually honestly a fairly boring last quarter, but the damage was done. We didn't have to do much. Sheila and Garner gold right at the end, but there wasn't much scoring through that. But look, we've ended up with an absolutely massive win, over the Power. I don't think the Power are a great team in the W, so it's really, really exciting. I mean, Gat was providing an option wide, pushing forward all game. I really liked O'Shea's sort of running off half-back ability. She was running around tackling everything, which is really, really exciting. Tripodi, look, how many tackles did she get? Felt like she got a lot of tackles. Yes, 8. She was always on top of someone, putting them in the turf. I think she tackled one of the girls. I don't know any of the Port players' names really, but she dumped someone and put their head into the ground. It was a free kick, but I love that tenacity as well. I mean, my girl Vicky Wall, 5 tackles, pressure acts that led to goals as well. It's fantastic stuff from the girls. It was really, really exciting to see. But I mean, Jasmine Garner, you just can't do stuff like that, Jazz. 6 goals and 31. You know what? We're going to do a give me name suggestions for the Shaun Adelaide Club Champ equivalent for the girls. It's going to be the Bricky Wall something, and I need you guys to help me decide. The Bricky Wall Club Champ, or do we call it something else? Let me know. If not, I'm going to go with Bricky Wall Club Champ, because Bricky Wall is my favourite footballer on planet Earth, to be honest. Better than Messi, better than Victor Gyökeres. Shout out to all you Gunners fans listening to this. A brace overnight. Fantastic stuff. Welcome Eze to the club as well. She's going to get the 3 votes for this game, absolutely. Let's have a look at some other players here. It was just domination. I mean, let's go to some of the team stats here. I mean, we smashed them in every single thing, 49 to 35 inside 50s. I mean, I'm surprised they got that much, to be honest. Free kicks 20 to 20. You know what? It's actually pretty for a game where it looked like we dominated in the middle. 21 clearances each for the game. So, look, we just took our opportunities. I mean, 74 to 51 marks for us, 16 to 5 marks inside 50. Yeah, it's the scoring for the Power, wasn't it? I mean, we dominated around the ground. When we get it in our forward line, much like last year, it just doesn't look like we're really the other opposition's going to get it out without us, scoring, to be honest. And it's just that pressure around the ground. We run all day. And you had some players that were a little bit quieter that are usually really, really good. I mean, a podcast favorite here, Tess Craven, quieter today, only 8 touches, but, running up and down the wing, found herself in the back line to cover a few times, a few spoils and defensive efforts. And it's players like Tess that have so much quality. If the team's humming, she can sort of sit back a little bit and let those guys cook, and she just plays her role. And then she'll come out next game and, absolutely dominate. And then those other guys, and you can share the load a little bit. One negative from this game for me personally was Kate Sherlaw. Love her effort, but a lot of drop marks. There was a lead-up mark that bounced off her chest at the start of the game. There was another one that I think Jazzy Garner looped it over. Should have just been a semi-uncontested mark over the top, and she dropped that too. So maybe she needs a few games to get in. I know Sherlaw is a little bit old, 36, I think, but hopefully she can find the form of last year because she's a massive goal threat when she's on. But yeah, maybe not the best showing from her today, and I'd like to see her do what we know she can do. But look, if I had to point out any criticism, which I think it's fair enough, Sherlaw, we know she can do so much better than that, and I think she'll start taking those. Randall in the forward line was very, very dangerous. I mean, she got so many marks. What's the number? It's probably 7 or 8, right? Yeah, 7 marks. She's maybe she's taken that mantle as mantle as the number one forward for us this year in the W as well. And maybe Sherlock can play that Jack Darling role. Who knows? That sounds fantastic to me. But it's the smaller forwards like, Lachlan buzzes around down there. Vicky Wall's always a threat. They played Garner. Do they have maybe they don't have the stat of CBAs, but I feel like Garner was playing a lot in the forward line. Unless her work rate is of that she just ran down there and did whatever she pleased. But, hey, it was a fantastic win by the girls, and I'm so excited to get down there. And, look, I know I don't have to keep saying this, but I do apologize that I couldn't get down there. I really, really wanted to. I'm genuinely kicking myself because I loved going to the W last year. It was a cracking day. The crowd looked awesome down there. And if you still haven't been, I mean, it's such a fun time, guys, honestly. Get down to Arden Street and watch some footy. It's fantastic. Let's have a look at some of the upcoming games for the W and have a look when the next home game is, and we can all mark it in our calendars. Let's have a look here. So we play Freo next over in Perth. Arden Street against the Pies, Sunday, 3 p.m. All right, lock that one in, everybody. Sunday, September the 7th, round 4, 3 p.m. at Arden Street. We're playing Collingwood. Collingwood aren't the best team. We're going to put on an absolute clinic. And then, next week after that, we go and play Brisbane. Another grand final rematch. That'll be a good one. That's up there, though, so that'd be a massive win. But everyone get down there and watch the girls. Fantastic stuff. I'm going to try and cover the girls a bit more. Sorry I couldn't get that first game done. There was so much stuff to do with the pod. I was down in Tassie and I couldn't quite get to it. Obviously, I had a fantastic win in round 1 over the Cats as well away, which Tess was talking about on the preview for the W season, that we don't play good footy against them. And it was tight for a bit, and then we sort of turned it on that second half. So if you haven't watched the preview with Tess Craven for the W season, please go and watch that. She's an absolute legend, Tess, a podcast favorite. And she's always willing to come on and have a chat. She's a legend. So, Tess, if you're listening, I'll come and see you at a game as soon as I'm there. I'll find you at the Collingwood game somehow, and, we can chat how the premiership defense is going back-to-back, baby. I'll tell you what. All right, look, we might leave it there. I'll give my 3 votes, of course. I gave Jasmine Garner the 3, but let's give all the votes. I mean, Riddell's getting 2. Who's going? You know what? Number 10. I forgot the name. I haven't learned her name yet. Boge or Bogue. She's getting the 1 vote this week. Blathen or Blayton? Blayton Bogue, Blathen Bogue, Blayton Boge. I'm so sorry, but you were bloody good in that game, and I need to know your name because it was exciting. There was one where she burnt someone, and I don't know if the holding the ball awareness is there yet. I'm assuming this is like an Irish name or something like that. But my God, like she could have kicked AFLW goal, the best one ever. She burnt someone, ran around someone, went to check side, and got mown down, unfortunately. But once she gets that awareness there, God, I think we've got a player there. That's really exciting stuff. Apologies for butchering the name, but her and Amy Gavin Mangan. Yeah, exciting stuff. So, look, Jasmine Garner 3, Ash Riddell 2, and Blathan Boge. That's what I'm going to pretend it is. And if it's not, I apologize. That's 1 vote. Let me know down below what you think, Bricky Wall Club Champ or something different. Let me know, but it has to be Bricky Wall because she's my favorite. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Sorry you've had to listen to my voice be so nasally and sniffing and stuff. I'm really battling to do this pod for you guys, but I've got it out. So if you are still listening, please, YouTube, subscribe. My goal is 2,000 by the end of the year, and that would mean a lot. There's going to be more live streams. There's going to be season reviews coming up. We're really heating up into this off-season. This is the biggest, busiest time for podcasting. So the grind doesn't stop up until about December, to be honest. There's so much coming. Season reviews, delistings, who we think, best and fairest predictions, previews of players who we've been linked to. That's all coming here on Further North. So Apple, Spotify, YouTube, get on all those platforms, follow, give me a 5-star review if you can on those. It helps me a lot. Instagram, Facebook are the big 2. I'm trying to do more TikTok, but I kind of can't be bothered sometimes. And I'm 30 years old. I don't use TikTok that much, so I apologize. But I'll try and do it more because I did enjoy it when I was getting a bit better at that. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate all the support. The love from the live stream was really, really nice for you guys to give me that and be so supportive of something I was a bit nervous to do because I'd never done it before as well. So that was fantastic. Further North fans are the best fans ever. This platform has grown so much and we're only just getting started. So, hey, I'll see you guys soon. Big season review coming through the week. Go the girls. AFLM is done. Time for AFLW. Back to back. See you guys soon. Bye.